Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Padres EVT Podcast in Focus. This is our 7th episode. We're your hosts, Garcia and Willy Warren. We're glad to be back again. Today, we're doing something we've kind of teased for about a while now. We are doing a Spring Breakout Draft. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Spring Breakout games, soon to be tournaments, it is a game where it's basically just top prospect teams from one team face top prospect teams from another team. It's an exhibition game. I know you had the privilege of being there, I believe, last year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it is absolutely awesome. Just seeing, it's really made for the, fans, for the national fans, just to be to watch everybody out on one field. It's kind of easy to put them on lists, write-ups, all that stuff. But it can be tough at times to just track an entire caliber of a farm system, and the Spring Breakout game gives us about the closest we'll ever get to that, I think, in terms of just seeing what a team's farm system, at least the upper end of their farm system, what that looks like on a field. And so I had a blast just tracking every pitcher who came in, every batter that stepped up, who's stealing, who just made that catch. It's really, really fun, and we're really, really excited to share who we think should be in the lineup for this year.
Yep. So a little bit of a rundown, just real quick. We're going to do it NFL draft style or fantasy draft style, where, Willy will have the 1, I'll get the wrapper in on 2 and 3, and then he gets 4, 5, and so on and so forth. We're drafting 9 position players, so we're going to have a full lineup and a DH, and then 3 pitchers, because last year, I believe 7 pitchers threw in the game. I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but it's a 9-inning game, and there are some pitchers who throw more than 1 inning. So, with the first pick of the In Focus Spring Breakout Draft, where are you going to take?
I thought about this for a little bit because I know, you're really weighing 2 options here. Do I want to get the best arm in system, or do I want to get the best position player in the system? And so I decided, just because of how important the catcher position is, I'm going to take EVT's number 1 prospect for 2025, Ethan Salas, with my first pick. National media hasn't seen him for a while. He's been off the radar for a while, and this could be maybe his first chance to get back on that stage, get back in the spotlight, and really, I think a big day for him at the plate would be huge. Going forward, to see him step up and get in the brown and gold, colors, and step up and have a great day, that would be awesome. And that is why he is my number 1 pick to start this thing off.
All right, so Willy goes with Ethan Salas at 1 overall. Now I've got the number 2 and number 3. Number 2. Those pitching picks are really high commodities. It's tempting to go position player right off the bat, but I'm actually going to take my first pitcher off the board. I'm going to take Cash Mayfield at number 2. I know it's either do you take Cash or do you take Cruz Schoolcraft? But last year, Cash Mayfield didn't pitch in the Spring Breakout game. We did see Boston Bateman in that game, but we didn't see Cash. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the logic that's going to happen with Cruz Schoolcraft, because we have seen him on the mound, but I'm not sure if he's going to throw in the game. So I'm going to take Mayfield. I think he's got the second highest ceiling in the system. He came in at number 3, right behind Schoolcraft. So I think I'm going to take Mayfield. And then at number 3, I'm actually going to go off the board, off the top 5. I'm going to take a guy I'm incredibly high on. I'm taking my guy, Braden Carpathios, at 3. I'm going to have him out in right field. I think he's got the most well-rounded outfield skill set in the system. We saw him in the game last year. He's got a cannon of an arm out there. He gets good reads on the ball, and the exit velos he put up in the AFL, I think I like what I'm seeing at him. So I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to take him at number 3.
I like it. That is maybe not what I expected to come off the board, who I expected to come off the board, but I like your thought process here, and I am going to kind of jump onto that a little bit, and I'm going to actually go off of who I originally had going second and take a guy who I think was meant for games like this, Miguel Mendez, because as someone who you hear a ton of concerns, you hear, can he command at the highest level? Can he throw 100 with a 90-mile-an-hour slider? And can he do it, like stay healthy? Can he, can throw enough strikes to stay a starter? And I think games like this are awesome because you kind of get to throw all that out of the window and you get to say, show us the potential, show us the upside, show us what there is to like about you. And that's why I think it will be an absolute blast watching him flash 100 triple digits against prospects who, quite honestly, he's going to embarrass some of them. He just will. And it's going to be awesome. And I think, he might strike out the side when he gets in. He might also walk the first three batters. But I think that's just the pure excitement that he brings is going to be. That's who I would want to start the game if I'm the manager of the Spring Breakout Padres, which I believe was Trevor Hoffman last year. I know he was very involved with that. So if I was Trevor, I would have Miguel Mendez start the game for me.
Do you think he's going to start the game? I think he's going to be the starter in the game.
He should. He had the best, I think, statistical season of any of the starter prospects, and he's also arguably the most exciting. I think there's no way he doesn't get the start there.
Right, and you still have the 5th pick.
Oh, you were correct. I was not. I'm gonna turn around and take Cruz Schoolcraft at my number 5 pick, just because the best arm in the entire farm system. I mean, he's fallen to 5, so that feels like a scoop up of a pickup. But yeah, he's incredibly incredibly talented, and he does have a chance to throw 3+ offerings. He has 3+ pitches he could flash in this game, and I think that's something that doesn't go for a lot of guys who are of his age there. And I think it's going to be exciting. He's also someone who we haven't seen pitch a ton on the public side of things, and I think if he gets to pitch, I don't know if he will, but if he does, even just a couple batters, that would be awesome to see. And probably I'd be the most excited to watch him just because we haven't seen a lot of him so far.
Yeah, I can just imagine going from Mendez in the 1st to Schoolcraft in the 2nd. That must be that's going to be an adjustment, all right. So it comes over to me at pick number 6, and there's quite a lot of options. I think stuff because we haven't gone to the infield at all, and I know there's some guys there who we could take. I'm actually going to hold off on the infield. I'm going to take another pitcher. I'm going to take Brian Balzer right now. He came in, I believe I had him at number 18 in the system. He's in that 15 to 20 range. The stuff is disgusting. It absolutely is. When he can get the tail on that sinker, good luck trying to hit that if he's dotting an outside corner, which he showed he can do. The slider was pretty average. It was still developing, but that splitter that he's been working on with coaches, there's some rumblings that, Yu Darvish has worked with him. So, if he's getting tutelage from Yu Darvish, I think he's one of these guys who we haven't seen a ton out of, but look out for him. I think that's who I'm going to go with at 6. And then rounding off the wraparound, I have to go position player here. I do not want to take my 3rd pitcher already. Ooh. I'm going to take a guy that's, you know what? I'll save the guy I was thinking for the next round. I'm going to take Ryan Weidman and put him out in center field. I think, Ryan Weidman has some of the highest upside offensively. If he can make the adjustments to his swing so that he's hitting the ball more in the air and less on the ground, with that speed that he has out there, like he's not the fastest, but he's a sizable human being. I believe he's 6'5", 2 something. So he can go up there and get it. There's this one play that he made in his first game where he robbed a home run in his first game at Single A, and that play's kind of stuck with me because even if he doesn't have the best speed, he's got that dog in him, and I think you want that out in center field. I mean, we've seen it with Jackson Merrill. He's not the biggest guy, he's not the fastest guy, but he's a ball player. That's how I'll end my rationale. He's a ball player, all right.
Well, yeah, no, that is a great pick. I thought it would be awesome to see his potential to put one over the fence onto the lawn at Sloan Park where they'll be playing is an exciting threat. Like I was gonna say he was gonna come off the board next for me. So I'm a little bummed about that. But with how you've taken 2 outfielders already, I would say that's probably the thinnest position group. Very smart on your end there to take 2 outfielders early. So I'm gonna go with Kavaris Tears here, who brings a similar amount of power from the left side. It's a very athletic swing, very athletic player. I was thinking maybe, when he was a Tennessee volunteer back on more of a bigger stage, he was balling. He had swag. He was flying, like he was crushing the
that
ball.
Insane catch in center field when he got pressed into duty there.
Oh yeah, he was just feeling it. And so I think maybe being back on a little bit of a bigger stage there might, bring out that kind of fire in him. And I would love to take him with that because, maybe he can also put one on the lawn at Sloan Park. I mean, he can when he gets out in front of it, he hits it real high, real far, and I want to see that on my squad. So he's gonna be my sixth. Is this my sixth pick?
He's the eighth pick. The eighth pick.
Pick.
You got yourself the Lake Elsinore Storm home run leader from last year. So
awesome.
Pretty good value at number 8. You also got number 9 right now.
And I've got 9, and I was waiting for this one. I'm going to take more power. Give me Cale Fountain to play third base. I want Cale Fountain playing third base because I want his arm there. Big kid, big arm, big power. He's yet to put it together. We've seen there's he's his swing still coming along. It's a lot of power to dream on, as some would say there, but I'm dreaming on it. And I think that he placed really, really high in your EVT top 32 prospects. I think at number 6, wasn't it? Number 6,
I believe he was at 5,
even higher. Man, top five EVT prospect. He's going to be my third baseman here with 9th
third
pick.
base. I'm going to be honest. I had so many guys written down on the infield, I forgot to write in Cale Fountain. Speaking of infield, I'm going to take one of my infielders right now. I'm going to take Ryan Jackson. I'm going to put him at shortstop. He's going to be my leadoff hitter. Because for those of you who were watching California League Baseball last year, this guy was getting on base almost half the time in 66 games that he played down there. He had an on base of over 400. He was hitting 300 to 350. And this guy saw 3 levels of the minor leagues plus the AFL. I think, for a late round pick, I believe he was a 17th round pick, if I remember correctly, to show that insane eye at the plate. Like, he is a different kind of leadoff hitter. He's not going to slug like a lot of, some of the leadoff hitters that we see now, like Kyle Schwarber, Fernando Tatis, got a lot of power. Jackson doesn't have a ton of power, but he makes up for it with insane play discipline, and I want that at the top of my lineup. So I'm going to take him. And on the wraparound, I am sorry, but I'm going to finish my outfield right now. I'm going to take Alex McCoy. I'm going to take Alex McCoy as my left fielder. This guy is huge. He just interviewed with EVT a couple weeks ago. Our editor, James Clark, did a great job talking to him. He's 6'5", I believe 265. and he was playing center field last year, and he was pretty good. He's got some sneaky wheels on him. I know he was in an honorable mention for me, but there's 5-tool talent there. I think if he can stay healthy, he has all the potential to be a 5-tool player. And now I don't have to think, what am I going to do with my outfield on this team build? Because
Yeah.
we've got power and we've got arms out there in the outfield.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna give a little, sneak peek of what my outfield group is going to eventually look like, because now I know I already know my two players because you've already taken your three. But let's just say there's a cannon on my last outfielder. I'll just say that he's probably going to be my last pick. But with my current pick, the 12th pick, I am going to take my guy Rosman Verdugo.
I knew it.
Yeah, I had a feeling you knew it. He's put together a solid season, a lot of swing and miss, but there's some power there. And from a second baseman, which is where I'm drafting him, that is a good hitter to play second base. And I mean, I think just with how weak that group is at the major league level, like I feel like he's someone who, when he cracks the big leagues, like he could be in an average, consistent, solid hitting second baseman. Obviously with he's got to cut down this the swing and miss and put a couple more pieces together. But I think he's a pure hitter. I think he's a dude, and I think that's someone who I feel great saying that that's my second baseman.
I did not write him down because I knew you were going to take him.
That's funny.
You got the 13th pick. You got the wraparound right now.
I got the 13th. I was this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take here. I kind of have to, but I'm going with Romeo Sanabria because of what he's shown in spring training and because of what I think he could do to a couple lower level prospect pitchers that he's going to face. I mean, I think he's probably the biggest lock here to finish, say, a triple shy of the cycle in this game. If anybody's going to do that, I think it's him. He's already been rolling. He's already a part of big league camp, and I mean, he could get up there if he sees a couple right-handers. He could crush them, and yeah, I feel great about him being my pick here, just because of how well he's played in spring training so far.
I'm going to be honest, I forgot to write him down too, because I wasn't sure if he was going to be in the game because he's seeing time in spring training, but he's balled out, in limited action. I think the barrels have definitely been there for Sanabria. I think that's a good pick. I know first base is kind of a hard position to really quantify in the system as it stands right now, but I think you got the best first base bat that we've seen, for an extended period of time. At 14, I've got options. I can go middle infield. I could finish up my infield. I haven't taken a catcher yet. Catcher is a tough spot because there's guys we haven't seen play a ton, and then there's guys who we've seen play a ton who we're not quite sure what the ceiling is. I am not going to take my catcher right now. I'm going to take my third baseman. I'm going to finish my infield right now. I'm going to take Zach Evans and put him at third base. He came in at number 30 for me. He projects to me like a more athletic Alec Bohm from, what I've seen out of him playing. He's been a consistent, he'll drive in runs. If you put him 5 or actually he would probably go number 2, number 3 in your lineup, and he's going to get Ryan Jackson in after he leads off the game pretty well. So I'm going to take Evans. I'm taking the top of that Lake Elsinore lineup at the start of the year. Let's give me that connection right now. And I'm going to take my shortstop. I'm going to take Jorge Quintana, and I'm going to put him at shortstop.
I didn't write him down. Wait. Wow.
He's not in my wait. No, I already have a shortstop. I have
You
Ryan
were,
Jackson
yeah,
at shortstop.
yeah.
Oh, I can't.
You drafted
Wait.
Ryan and you drafted Zach. I just
Yeah,
got bailed
Zach's at
out, and you
third.
just reminded me.
Oh no. Unless I put Quintana at second.
Has he?
But I don't think he played second last
I
year.
was
Oh,
going off the. I was using like the rule of like you can draft them if on Fangraphs it says they've
yeah.
played it. Like
That's
yeah,
how I wrote it
nice.
down. Oh
Put
my.
it down. Put it
Oh
down.
no.
I was actively searching. I was actively searching up Francisco Acuna because I thought he was going to have to be my shortstop, and I hadn't watched him outside of a couple at bats in camp this year. That's crazy.
Man, that was rough. Wow. That's a tough break for me, but I'm gonna take my DH instead. I'm going to take my DH, and I'm going to go with, because I've got some options here. Ooh. You know what? I'm just going to take Marcos Castellano and put him at second. I'll take Castellano and put him at second. He has one of the hardest hit balls in all of spring training. I think our boy Tirso just outdid him over the weekend, but Marcos has been hitting the ball hard. He's played first. He's played second. He even played third last year, so could have had him bounce around, but I just still can't believe I just undid myself like that with the Quintana pick.
Yeah. So, anyways, with my next pick, I'm going to take my franchise shortstop, Jorge Quintana, who I cannot believe. I knew I was missing something, but because I was looking at the like class of middle infielders, and I was like, well, I can't take Joan de la Cruz, or I can't take David Coronel, or I can't take either of those. And I was missing one, but I'm going to take Jorge Quintana. He showed exceptional bat speed at single A, extremely young, and like I still am amazed that the Padres got him for what they did. They only sent over Brandon Lockridge. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brandon Lockridge was the only part of that deal that they sent over, and the fact that they came out on the other end with a dude who's putting up EV 90s that are close to like MLB average, like that's incredible stuff. And thrilled to get him in the double-digit rounds. I honestly probably should have gone top 5, but anyway, brings me. So he's going to be my shortstop, and that brings me to because I have Verdugo.
You're on 17. Yeah.
I'm going to take my second outfielder, Cason Wells.
Oh, damn. That was my next pick.
No, really?
Yes.
He hit 271 in 2025. Didn't strike out a ton, only 22. I know that's like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of youth in that, out in that outfield group there. And he is only 22. He really brings that. And he stole 32 bags. That speed is the type of thing that plays well in this sort of game, because I mean, I can't imagine someone's going to say, hey, dude, don't run. You just got to hit. Stay on. No, he'll be off to the races. That'll be fun to watch. And I feel absolutely great about getting him in 17th round.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, there was a point where he was leading the Cal League in steals. He got injured, missed about a month and a half, comes back, and he's still 4th in the Cal League in steals. So that's how good that speed is coming, putting him out there in center field. So I'm in a bind now because you got the guy I was going to get with my next pick. So I got to go back to the table. I'm going to take my catcher right now because I have catcher. And I believe I still have catcher, first base, and a pitcher, I think. And my DH.
Let me double check that.
Yeah, because I've got my 3 outfielders. I've got second, third, and short. So I have my first baseman, catcher, and then pitcher and DH. I'm going to take my catcher. I'm going to go with Lamar King Jr. I could have gone with Ty Harvey. I could have gone with Trip Madonna, but I'm going to go with Lamar King Jr. because, he's another guy who's close to Major League ready. Well, closer than some of the other guys in this system. Could have also gone with Anthony Villar, but I like the upside of King's bat. And he's got sneaky wheels. Like he stole 20 plus bases as a catcher last year. So I'm going to go with Lamar King Jr. and put him behind the plate. I thought I had so much momentum, and now I'm trying to remember what was my whole strategy.
Yeah, definitely the whole kind of vibe of everything kind of just flipped there.
Yeah.
With my last arm that I'm going to take here is a Twitter darling, someone who's been buzzing in the I don't know.
Damn it, that's my next pick too.
Is it? I don't know. But
who I'm
thinking of, who I'm saying here is Tucker Musgrove.
Yes.
He is going to be my third arm. Electric stuff. Who knows if he's going to be used out of the pen, if he's going to continue to start. Either way, there doesn't seem to be too much of a risk going either way. It feels like either way he's going to end up in the best spot for him. And I can't wait to see his StatCast data. I can't wait to see what that looks like. I mean, he's someone, after he dominated in the Arizona Fall League.
Yeah.
This feels like a very logical place for him to continue that dominance.
Yeah, he did really well in the AFL. Mm-hmm. Ooh, this is a tough position now because I've got my catcher. I just need first DH and one more pitcher. I know we both need a DH.
Or wait,
you already have a first baseman.
Do you need a DH? Yeah.
So we both kind of need a DH. I know you have your infield set. You're missing an outfielder. Because we've got some options here. I think I'm going to take my last pitcher just to get pitchers out of the way. And I'm going to take a guy who I think should make the opening day roster in Garrett Hawkins.
Wait, yeah, that's a better pick. That's actually an amazing pick.
It's tough because I'm going to be honest, I really wanted to take Luis Gutierrez. If we were doing more pitchers, I would have taken him as my third starter. If we were doing like a full, rotation, but I want the established talent of Garrett Hawkins. I think, we've seen him in spring. He's been nasty, even if, the velo is slightly down. Like, he's been very hard to barrel up in spring training. The only reason the Reds got that run off him the other day was that was a jam job single out to right field by one of the top prospects in their system in Cam Collier. I like what Garrett Hawkins has. He's got a 3-pitch mix that will definitely be serviceable at the major leagues. I want to see if Ruben Niebla can give him a sinker like he did with David Morgan. That would be – because if he has that tailing fastball on top of the high-riding fastball, I don't know how much of what's the word? I don't know how practical that would be to implement, but if that's a possibility, I mean, look out for him, honestly. I think he's one of the best arms in the bullpen right now. It's just a shame that so many other top arms are right-handers, because if they had more room for him, he would 100% be a lock for the opening day roster. But I'm going to take him as my last pitcher.
All right, and you still have the turn, correct?
No, we're going back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
here we go. With my next pick, because I still need my DH here. Did you take Ty Harvey with your DH? He is going to be my DH here. It's definitely not who I was planning on taking as my designated hitter to start. I was prepared to take him in case I didn't take Ethan Salas as my top catcher, because I see him as the second best catcher in the system. But yeah, I'm going to take him. He has the tools. He could be one of those guys who's maybe not 5-tool prospect. Maybe it's near maybe it's like almost 5 tools, because there's only one real 5-tool catcher that's really played at the major league level. But his name also starts with 2 letters, JT, just like Ty Harvey. And So, I mean, I thought that was kind of fun, and he's someone who gives me the vibes of someone who could really just like turn heads with his defense, turn heads with his arm, turn heads with his power. Like he could become like just a baller, an absolute everyday player if he's able to, pick up everything consistently, and they're as long as like there's not one spot of his game that just kind of like lags behind. If everything kind of stays consistent, I think he could be a big riser in the system. And he also, I will say this, he also went ahead of Cash Mayfield in my 50-round dynasty draft
Oh,
the other day. He went there. He went in like the 47th round, and I thought that
yeah.
was really cool. So someone, I think it was OC Baseball
Oh,
on Twitter.
O'Connor.
Mikey took him, I think, in the 47th round. So just saying, I'm not the only one who thinks he could be a riser this year.
Yeah. Shout out to Mikey if he's
Shout out
listening.
to-
Anyways, that's a really good pick. So that's your DH. I've got to get my first baseman in my DH. I'm going to get a guy who played one game at first base last year, but I believe in the bat. I'm going to take Carrington Cross and put him at first base. I think, I was thinking about who could I take here, because there's still a few guys who are still on the board, but DH, you can pretty much put any position there. I remember Carrington Cross coming out of Cincinnati. I equated him to kind of he reminds me a lot of Luke Voigt in the swing. There's a ton of raw power there. It's just how much of it will translate with the wooden bat, because his exit velos with the metal bat were insane. And, he's got aura when you see him swing the bat, for lack of not to be unscientific for a moment. Like there's something there. So I'm going to take him, and he is going to be my team's first baseman. I can't believe first base for me goes off the board at 22. You took Sanabria in the mid-10s, which is, I think, fair value. We all know first base is a very offensively driven position. There's not as much focus on all the tools there. But now it goes back to you. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you just need
an outfielder.
You just
need
one
outfielder. And guess what? I'm going to overload my team because I'm going to have an extra pitcher as well, because I'm taking two-way player Sean Barnett to be my third and final outfielder in a spring breakout game. I don't see a world where they let him pitch. There are so many guys who deserve it more, who are higher ranked, better stuff. I believe he had a 21.50 ER.
It was pretty high.
Like it was not great. But I mean, I'm gonna take, if I'm not allowed to take Tierso or Nellis, who I do not think meets the age requirements to do this anymore. No offense to Tierso, just kind of, he's like the Jason Dominguez of, the Padres farm system. But yeah, if I can't take him, I'm going with Sean Barnett, because he's an athlete, can play both ways. He hit just 211 with like a 94 weighted runs created plus, but I'm taking a two-way player. I mean, it's very, very thin there, and I'm choosing excitement over maybe like a Kai Roberts or, someone else.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I'm going to be honest. I don't remember how much outfield to play. I know he played a little bit of outfield. He did do some pitching, and that's part of the fun with the spring breakout games. You're going to see guys who are not necessarily on the top lists, but they are, coming up. So you're also going to see them. I'm on my last pick now, and I'm going to take a guy who I mentioned earlier in the process, and that is Truett Madonna, and he's going to be my DH. I think with him, they picked him later in the draft, and they gave him 4th round money, so there's a reason. The bat played in the draft league before the draft. Like, he was in the MLB draft league facing college guys, and he still put up some pretty good exit velos. I remember there was one homer that was over 104, 105 off the bat. So I think my lineup's fairly balanced. I know I didn't write down, handedness or anything, but I think there's some power in this batch of guys. There's gonna be some swing and miss as well, but that's a byproduct. It comes with the power. I know for those of you who are listening, we will put out a graphic of what the final team builds do look like after all, but this was a fun way to see like who we think is going to be in this game, who we're going to expect to see, and just guys to keep an eye out on, not just in spring, but as the season goes on.
Yeah, no, this is, I think, the third year that they've done this spring breakout game, and I think it's just such a good chance for not just like the young prospects playing in it, but like just for fans to see, just to kind of dig into like dig a little past just the top guys in the farm system, and to kind of learn like a little bit about someone who they may have never seen before. Like I'm sure Padres fans, most fans probably haven't seen Case and Wells steal bases, and that's going to be something awesome. You're going to go get to see him swiping bags. You might get to see some arms like Brian Balzer, who you took very high, who like their stuff is nasty. Like you're going to be like, oh, am I watching King or am I watching Brian Balzer? Like, I mean, there's going to be those players that you are highly touted, and they're going to be there. They're probably going to play well, but there's going to be some shocks and surprises that you probably didn't see coming. And I think that's what makes the game so special, and that's why we can't wait to watch it.
Most definitely. So today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter because the goal was the draft, and it was a great exercise. It's a great way to put some names out there. This episode is releasing before the official rosters, so if we got some picks right or wrong, that's neither here nor there. So thank you all once again for tuning into another episode of the Padres EVT Podcast in Focus. On behalf of my co-host Willy Warren, this is Diego Garcia, staff writer at EastVillageTimes.com, saying thank you all so very much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you all again very soon.